morning. I'm getting back into my routine of giving updates regularly. This is day 423 of the Worldwide Megacrisis Hungerstrike, grade 11 hunger strike. There's different grades to these hunger strikes. They get harder. So this is this is the second final one. There's only one more harder grade after this. This is called a perpetual wet hunger strike to the potential death, meaning that unlike normal hunger strikes, this one doesn't end unless we either achieve the goal, which is there's 6 things I'm asking for, or I die. That's it. But I get to have breaks in between if you want to help our volunteers to make these blessings or these trainings that count towards my meals, and I can have a break meal when we achieve certain targets that exponentially increase every meal. So it gets harder every time we achieve a break. And the breaks are only as long as it takes for me to get over refeeding syndrome and then to eat a 2,000 or more calorie meal, which is what I normally do when I'm fit or normal, healthy. So you can see I'm a little disheveled still. I'm still recovering from a 65-day hunger strike. That was long. Well, I shouldn't call it a hunger strike because it's all just one grade 11 hunger strike. So it's a streak. So this was my 20th streak, meaning we've had 20 breaks, 20 meals that I've dedicated around the world. I've cooked 20 different types of gourmet vegan cuisine as part of climate change awareness raising. But this one was severe. This streak was 65 days close to death. And I'm trying to track down at the hospital, like you saw yesterday in my videos at the hospital, the University of Alberta Hospital, what was causing me to puke all the time. Because that's the thing where I started to go downhill very fast, is that just wastes your energy. So there's could be 3 or 4 causes. And the first one is gastroparesis, where it's just organ failure. Your stomach and your intestines just shut off because it's been so long. They don't have the proper sodium or electricity to keep functioning. It could also be electrolyte imbalances in my blood generally. That was causing nausea and dizziness maybe, but I wasn't really standing up. But and then there's a third thing called pancreatitis, where I had really high lipase levels, which your pancreas secretes, and your pancreas is responsible for making the enzymes to digest your food, and it has like gallstones and lots of stuff happens there. So that can get plugged if you're sitting still, or it's so dehydrated or so concentrated that it can block off and start eating itself, and a whole bunch of problems happen. So it could be that too. But the doctors didn't seem to study me enough to actually figure out what it was. But they seemed to change a little bit when I told them, yeah, I'm going back on the hunger strike again because it's perpetual, likely August 7th. But I don't know if I'm going to be recovered enough. My hand is not recovered at all. It's gotten worse, it feels like, since June 25th. It's been 23 days, you guys. It does not feel that way at all. So I'm here recovering slowly but surely, and that's how you understand the numbers of my hunger strikes, because you'll see I put different ones up there. That's how you understand what's happening. If you want to join us or even promote this as a real initiative to try and change the world, because I'm trying to save your life from the mega crisis, as you know. Or if you're new, you might not know, but if you watch my other 700 videos, you'll see that it's very consistent messaging about this mega crisis we're in. Okay, so I'll make some comments about this Jubilee character, who's in some ways generating a little bit of controversy, but also some good questioning about unfolding these channels and sort of supporting each other as we're trying to get over this algorithm that's suppressing and shadow banning us activist types. She's a little bit more prickly because she's gotten a bit more problems from the world as a woman and somebody who has an actual real clinical disability. So I don't think social media is really the way to go, but it'll help prime the real flock strategy, the real exponential implementation that has a real chance of generating global critical mass. My nose is a little stuffed, like my speech is a little bit impaired because I have not cleaned my place yet. Like there's a lot of stuff laying around, and when you're sitting still for over 2 months, your skin flakes start to create dust, and so I have a little bit of agitation. But I have noticed from the social media, even if I'm not totally social media ready. Like, I'm really rough. This is raw. This is before it goes viral and before we start to change the world and grow to the thousands and tens of thousands of people. But people will go back and watch these recordings. That's why I put some effort into the messaging, the meaning, because they're going to check for integrity. Are we flip-flopping? Are we hypocrites? What's going to happen? Like, who are we? And these videos will show them that it's hard to mimic these. Even with AI right now, it's hard to mimic hundreds of videos. You can mimic a couple, but hundreds is hard. And that will get more possible in the near future. But for right now, it's still a good case of integrity, a good way to check these deep fakes and sandbagging and all these very intense issues with AI. So by the way, I've been doing some research, and the social media impact that I'm having is, if you include all of my hunger strikes that I've done, all the grade 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them, and the ones I did at the University of Alberta and at the courthouse outside, which were really hard, I've probably reached around 750, 3/4 to 1 million views on these hunger strikes right now, with no money, no payments, not including all the advertisements we did for the volunteers. You know, we have hundreds of thousands of views, and people were joining. The movement would have started if they wouldn't have violated my charter rights at the University of Alberta. That's the best place to start a movement. In fact, historically, it's supposed to be where movements start, because new ideas come from the research out of those places, and ideas are the real GDP, the real gross domestic product of a country. So Robert Solow proved it as an economist in the 1970s, 80s, I think. He proved that the difference between rich countries and poor countries was not your education, not your people, it's your idea generation, your research and development. So it's very important, if you're building a global government like we are, to have that case, or intergovernment, to have that mapped out, that process. Look at my hair doing all this weird stuff. I'm like losing my hair because of the extreme hunger. But CRISPR and all these hair cures will solve that if I want to have traditional looks. But I guess it's like a mane. Like, it's so thick and it's like turning into a mane. I can't actually comb through it anymore. It's like really bad because of my toque. Look at my beard. It's like not even together anymore. So I'm aware of what I look like, you guys. I look like the poor and the homeless. And that's intentional to a degree, for efficiency, like I said, but also because of the message. As I get cleaned up, I want the whole poor, all 8 billion, or all 1 billion those in abject poverty, to rise up with me. If I'm wearing a Rolex watch, I don't know if I want to promote brands, an ethical watch of that degree. I want to get a planetary watch too. That'd be super cool. With the planets are, like, you can see where the planets are. That'd be amazing. But there's a billion objectively poor people in the world, like real dying of poverty. Those people, plus the middle income, well, not middle income, moderate poverty, which is another 2 or 3 billion people, they have to rise up with me. Okay? So as I get to put oil in my beard and everything starts to look normal, I can look good, right? I can take care of myself to a certain degree. But right now, we're under incredible pressure. I'm under incredible pressure. Jobs are being taken. It's not normal. Cost of living is high. So it's not business as usual. It's a problem that we're all going to have to face, and I'm facing it now. And I'm not going to say it's... There's more I want to say, but I'm not going to say I'm fully ably bodied. My hand's still numb, still recovering, so that the courthouses don't say, "Oh, see, you could have did this, you could have did that, you could have did this." No, I couldn't have. Not when I'm engaging my charter rights, which I have a right to engage in, which they're ignoring. They're saying, "Well, why don't you go live a normal life?" Well, because I can't do my charter rights then, and I can't do all this other stuff and heal. And so it's very important to embrace your charter rights, you guys, in the hundreds of years and thousands of years of when humans didn't have rights like this. It was slavery. But yeah, I think we're making a dent, and I have more work to do here. So I also went over the CTAS score. There's one thing that happened that was really a real progress towards God's government, the truth, wise government. And that's when I was in the hospital, I learned to feed myself and come prepared, because it's really brutal in that emergency ward. And They give you a score when you come in, and I learned what it is. It's called CTAS, C-T-A-S. And I figured out how they calculate it. And it's just like the notion, it's like the universal logic. They're trying to repeat the universal logic. So I already have ideas on how to improve that process. And I'm going to be doing it every time I go in there, which will potentially be soon, because I'm really worried about this hand being numb and it's burning and hurting. It's starting to turn into a problem. And after 3 weeks, there should be some kind of recovery. Even though recovery is slow, there should be some kind of healing of some kind. And it's getting worse. And I think that because the crew there is kind of young, because they've never seen something this extreme before, I think they're mismanaging it. I think I'm going to suffer permanent damage because they're not bad people necessarily. There's some prejudiced people, and it's true, like the people who don't like veganism and don't like my charter rights, which you can't be prejudiced towards. It's illegal. It's just differential treatment in a public setting. I have a right to eat the food that I want to eat when there's veganism. It's a classified food category. I have a right to engage my charter rights that apply in a public hospital. So this is starting to become a real problem. And he barely looked at it, but he does have the doctor does have this order to a neurologist, which I've been to neurologists, and it's a little bit of a touch my finger. But these deeper issues need more nuance, I think. So we're gonna go do this test and see how the ulnar nerve is healing. But I want the diplopia. That's what it's called. When they gave me double vision, that's serious. That shouldn't have happened at all. Like what damage was caused there? And they're starting to get legalistic. They're cutting out things, and now that I have my CTAS score, I'm like, no, you should give me a higher CTAS score, because there's a third order modifier. Like there's 4 categories or 3 categories, and then the number they give you. The third category is the one where they need to be taken into account. It was a 65-day hunger strike where they have very concerning complaints filed against them now in my huge master package I sent them with AI. So big update here in terms of improving God's healthcare system. We'll be doing this properly in the form of the notion is what it's called. Real in the form of the structure of pure wisdom is what it's called. And that's why it'll be unique, and that's why it's going to change the world. And even though we're building momentum now, I get to eat for 3 more weeks, right? In that time, we're going to be building out these systems. As I'm experiencing the full plethora of the society we're in, from the courthouses to the hospitals, to the prejudice on the streets, to like when you're doing hunger strikes to really change the world, you're engaging like all the levers. It's intense. And I'm streaming and I'm surviving off of donations. And now the social worker is trying to help me. She's realizing that I could die on the next hunger strike because this one was so close. Like I couldn't have gone much further without actually dying or going blind, or like in some ways, this hand is the beginning of the crossing over into, permanent damage unless we have the CRISPR revolution, CRISPR, the CRISPR genetic editing can not be hoarded by the elite wealth that is currently concentrating, as you can see from the JP Morgan Chase announcements that they smashed their all-time quarterly profit records. We want to have it so it's distributed so that people like me and ordinary people like you and me, we can actually get healed too and not have to work with debt slavery for the rest of our lives. Okay, I feel like I want to say more, but it's 13 minutes of some pretty cool updates. You can see I uploaded some more videos of me making my own food in the hospital, because hunger is my injury, right? And they're not feeding me, and they're also causing a cognitive decline situation, which I think is also being messaged or managed in my complaint, is the emergency rooms of God will be different. And I know that they're trying to do their best right now, but it feels like there's a pressure to try and undermine the public health system here in Canada, like to try and make Alberta's healthcare system privatized. And we just have to have a better measuring system. Measuring is powerful. It's about judgment on the true nature of things, which is what wisdom is. Okay, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go make some food. I'm gonna make another video to Jubilee here, and I'll do these splits and then these videos. And the core message for today, by the way, is the Fair World Spirit core is about time compression through clarity on ego wisdom. The problem is the mega crisis that we're solving. The solution is the 2 sacred sentences, and the implementation is the flow rules and flocks. Okay, I won't get into it more, but I just want to keep that as a thread. That it looks like I'm all over the place and scattered, and no, I'm not. I'm very directed. Today I'm going to be working on the core vision, the core sentence I just read. And it's like that every day, even though there's a bunch of particular different things happening, hospitals and food, and it's very focused. Like even today, I have to go get my driver's license renewed because my fillings are falling out, my driver's licenses are expiring, my passports are expiring, like everything is expiring all at the same time as I'm approaching this age. And that's a societal effect. Look at this, I can't even talk properly, my nose is so stuffed. So I'm gonna go and try and solve this license problem because the poverty trap is suppressing me. This social worker at the hospital listened to me, and she's worried about me, and she's trying to help me. She's going up and above now. So the spirit is working. And I like her. She's a good woman. She's a white woman, privileged woman, very privileged. But she has a heart. She's the right kind of white person with money and power and beauty and all the Pareto categories, even though she's in her 60s. She said, well, here, I'm going to help you. She got this person on the phone for these emergency services. I actually got some help. I was like, wow, that never happens to me. They had my wrong birth date. Everything was messed up. She corrected it all with her special code. Then I had to use this website to get the transfer sent properly, but they needed a verification with my driver's license or my passport or some kind of identification. Well, both of those are expired. And because I waited so long in the hospital for my driver's license, right, that wasn't sent. For some reason, they didn't send it. Then I had to go back. My temporary was expired because that only lasts for 30 days. So then I had to get a duplicate made, which they made for free because they know me there. And they know that I'm literally on the verge of dying to save their lives. And they gave me a duplicate for free because I was within the 60-day window. I tried to get the website verified again last night. Then it had this exception. If you engage the 60-day window, now you have to come back with your birth certificate. Well, I don't have my birth certificate. That's another $50. I'm like, that's the food money. That's what I need help on. And so you can see the poverty trap is just crushing me. It's like a very simple thing could have been done in 5 seconds is now taking me hours to do. And that's what happens when you're in the poverty trap and you're being suppressed. All these multiplier effects in the vicious economic cycle pulls you down. Whereas the other side, dialectically, is the virtuous cycle, is that once everything starts going well, you just keep going up. And that's a finite process that causes all these cycles of poverty and all this terrible, unbalanced logic in our species that's destroying everything. And we need to bring it back into universal logic, a circle of life kind of ecological thinking that is genuine wisdom. And that's my main contribution to breakthrough, okay? So all these particular events are me just grinding to launch the movement, but the universal logic, once I'm taken care of and I'm raised up a level out of poverty, like all the poor in the world, then that's when I'll start hitting my stride more and start publishing more papers. I'm still going to try and publish a paper here before the next hunger strike, because people are starting to read my work and listening to my words and not just my appearance. And I hope you're doing that too. 18-minute recording, holy. So I'm going to go take care of that. And maybe I can get this thing figured out and get some food here because I'm out of milk. I'm out of soy sauce, which for vegans makes everything taste a lot better. There's an umami in it. Otherwise, it's pretty watery. I'm out of a lot of things. I have no fresh food except for the last of these mung beans, which I'll just show you just to make the video, oh boy, a little different. I'm literally stretching out my seeds as much as possible. I'm still weak. So this is me making my own mung beans. Every day you just put a little bit of water in here, you shake it around, and you leave them out. And these little guys bloom in 2 days, and you can eat them. So these guys have been going for a day. You can see their little white tails. They have 20 times more nutrition like this. This is one of the little secrets that I learned. And all you need to do is put water in. And I put filtered water in. So this is my last nutrition, are these last little jars here. These are the mason jars for my mother's canning, which I'm blessed to have. Even though she's starting to crack down on me too. It's coming to a hilt. It's like they either act or they don't. And it's coming to, they're digging their heels in. So I'm going to need your guys' help before they cross over. They'll cross over. My family's amazing. They're just really opinionated sometimes. They're really stuck in their ways. Very strong-headed people. That's why they can change the world. But their argumentation is not quite as sublative yet. So they're going to stick their heel. It looks like they could have crossed over and sublet and okay, you're right, but they're really digging their heels in. So we're sort of in the more worst case scenarios. But a few more months, I think people will start to say, yeah, where's the real solutions? And all the ordinary solutions are not working. And then they'll see, the ordinary solutions are working just good enough to buy us time to get the real solution, the universal logic to them. Okay, I'm gonna go and have some more food, and I'll make the video to Jubilee, and then I'm gonna get cracking on the rest of it. So stay blessed. Join me, ask me questions if you'd like, and join us with the core. Okay, stay blessed, keep sublating.